people believe that the Founding Fathers thought of the legislative branch as the most important because they described it in the first article or section of the Constitution. This branch is also known as Congress, and its job is to make laws. The Founding Fathers didn't want just one group of people to be able to make laws, so they created two unique sections of Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate. In order for laws to be created, these two sections of the legislative branch had to work together to come to an agreement. Both the Senate and the House of Representatives work at the U.S. Capitol Building in Washington, D.C. Although they share the common goal of creating laws, each section is unique. Let's take a closer look at the Senate. The Senate is made up of 100 people known as senators. 2 people from each of the 50 United States are elected to make decisions on behalf of their state in the Senate. Can anyone campaign to become a senator from their state? Well, the Constitution lists 3 requirements for anyone wishing to become a U.S. senator. First, you must be a U.S. citizen for at least 9 years before joining the Senate. Second, you must be at least 30 years of age. And third, you must live in the state you wish to represent. Once elected, senators have their jobs for 6 years before they must be re-elected by the citizens of their state. The second section of Congress is the House of Representatives. This is a much larger group of people. While there are 100 seats in the Senate, there are 435 seats in the House. The number of representatives each state sends to Congress depends on how many people live in that state. States with more people have more representatives. For example, there are currently 53 representatives from the state of California, 5 from the state of Connecticut, and only 1 from the state of Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be a representative must be a U.S. citizen for at least 7 years, be at least 25 years old, and must live in the state they wish to represent. Once elected, members of the House of Representatives have their jobs for 2 years before they must be re-elected by the voters in their state. Both the Senate and the House of Representatives can introduce bills that can become laws, declare war, and pass the national budget or spending plan. In other areas, the House and Senate each has its own powers. It is only members of the House of Representatives, for example, that can introduce bills that deal with spending government money or charging people more taxes. Senators, on the other hand, are the only ones who can approve or reject agreements with other countries, and the president's recommendations for who should fill important government jobs. Let's take a moment to review. Question number 1. How many senators are elected to represent each state? A, 1, B, 2, C, 5, or D? It depends on how many people live in a particular state. The correct answer is B. 2 senators are elected to represent each state in the Congress. Here's question number 2. How many seats are there in the U.S. House of Representatives? A, 100, B, 325, C, 435, or D, 500. You were correct if you chose C and knew that there were 435 seats in the House of Representatives. Let's try one more. Question number 3. What is a power that the House of Representatives has that the Senate does not? A, the House can declare war. B, the House can introduce government spending bills. C, the House can approve the president's choice for an important government job. Or D, A and C? The correct answer is B. The House can introduce government spending bills. Now that we have learned about the legislative branch, let's move on to the branch of government described in Article 2 of the Constitution, the executive branch.